Yay! I actually went live. Okay, I was getting a circle of death there for a couple of seconds. Well, this is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside, and I wanted to come and do a mid-month astrological chat type of situation. And the main reason I want to do that is because I had the most incredible experience in the month of October, dealing with this Libra new moon that had the Libra new moon at 15 degrees and the sun was at 15 degrees. And that day there was something else that was very close to that. And of course, we all know that Pluto is at 18 degrees, transiting Capricorn. And I am a Capricorn with my sun at 14, almost 15 degrees, and my ascendant at 17 degrees. And I was born with Saturn in Aquarius. It is the chart ruler of my chart, and it is in my first house, in the sign of Aquarius. And what happened was when the transiting sun and moon squared my natal Uranus or natal sun and ascendant, I was hospitalized. And it's very odd because I was hospitalized because of pains that I experienced in my legs. And I thought that was very interesting because, as we all know, Capricorn rules the knees area, and Aquarius basically rules the legs. And so I felt as though I was possibly facing never being able to walk again. It was really, truly frightening. And I found myself talking about it quite a bit on Facebook all week long because it just freaked me out. I can talk about what happens to Capricorns when Saturn is around, when Saturn hits your sun, or when Saturn goes to the ascendant. Or I could talk about the fact that Saturn is known as Father Time, and that, when we start to age, Saturn is usually there when we begin to realize, hey, we're getting older, or we're aging, or we start to feel the age come upon us. And literally, as Saturn sits on my sun in Capricorn, I feel the weight of Saturn. And I can only say that the best way to put what I went through was I was traumatized. I really felt totally traumatized by the recent new moon that was conjunct the sun. I am just hoping and praying, because one of the things that my daughter said to me after I got back from emergency and from the hospital and whatever, was I was scared and crying. And of course, we were trying to make sure I had all the proper medications that you need to make sure that, my legs were really kind of seizing up, like they were going into rigor mortis. It's the closest way to put it. And I can't actually tell you how frightening that was, because no matter what I did, no matter if I stood, if I sat, if I laid down, my legs were still seizing and going into like this crazy rigor mortis thing. And I have thought about this as an astrologer, because I'm about to share something. I wrote about it because I thought it was interesting. But one of the things that I realized was that I do have Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn, of course, means constricting and restricting, right? So think about the seizing motion: constricting, letting go, constricting, letting go. And that's what it was doing when I think about it, going into those horrible seizing spasms. So I'm going to share something that I wrote at a Capricorn group on Facebook. And then I will kind of go into a aha moment I had after I wrote it. So I had here, I'll just start here. I've been through so much since the last new moon in Libra. I can scarcely believe it's only been a week. I almost died, or at least it felt like it. My legs seized up uncontrollably, so bad. It was like they were going into rigor mortis. It was horrific. I was literally screaming in the hospital. They gave me very powerful painkiller. It's called the Laudit. They give it to car crash victims. That's how bad it was. And they put me on muscle relaxers for the rest of my life. It's called methylcarbamol. For the record, I am a Capricorn with Capricorn rising. My chart ruler is Saturn. I have Capricorn and Aquarius sharing the first house with Mercury and Saturn in Aquarius. My first, for those who do not know, Capricorn and Aquarius rule the legs. And I was once in a wheelchair for 7 years. It was a horror story. And just know that I lost 300 pounds from dancing. I started dancing, and I've done this for 5 years now. Now that I have Saturn conjunct my Capricorn sun in the 12th house, it's quickly approaching my ascendant. I know my challenge is how to strengthen my legs under such a heavy burden. It takes all my strength to walk and come and sit at the computer now. It is incredible. I worked so hard to be strong, yet my legs have betrayed me during the Sun New Moon conjunction in Libra on the 8th of October. It was exactly squared my Sun in Capricorn and conjunct my ascendant as well. It was a nightmare. It still is, because transiting Pluto in Capricorn is sitting on my first house ascendant as well. I know I will have to face the dark pain and agony of Pluto on the ascendant, but I have never in life known such pain. It has created a deep fear within me now. I now take anxiety meds for the fear and the tears. I am glad to report that so far, my recent blood work indicates that I am otherwise healthy, and they think this could have been caused by the onset of celiac disease. Lately, whenever I eat flour products, the seizing and spasms start all over again. I have been put on a zero wheat, zero dairy, zero nuts, zero soy diet, since my body has already developed severe sensitivities to coffee, chocolate, raisins, nuts, grapes, wine, chicken, tomatoes, and peanut butter. It now even reacts to onions. I am sure I will lose the rest of the weight I once had gained. It is amazing to think that I was once over 500 pounds for 7 years of my life. I now believe that the universe provided the food to gain that weight, like a squirrel who hibernates in winter and packs on additional weight. Pluto was in the 12th house for years. Now that Pluto is in the first house, and Saturn is quickly approaching the first house as well. I am sure the weight loss will be rapid now that my diet has been so severely limited. I am literally at a point in my life where eating certain foods could kill me. It freaks me out to know as an astrologer that this is just Saturn in the first house doing its Saturn in the first house thing. Anyway, thanks for letting me share my Capricorn story of struggle and all it takes for me to continue climbing that mountain every single day. I will not give up. If anything, all of the challenges have renewed my desire to live as wisely and as fully as possible. Sending out much love and light to all. Stay strong, Caps. We are adept at climbing out of and over any and every obstacle. So that is the letter that I wrote. And I realized after I wrote that, and I'm going on and on about Capricorn and about Saturn and about Pluto and the first house and Saturn in Aquarius, and that's all true. But then I realized that all of that Saturn and all of that Capricorn created this odd, lopsided thing with Cancer. And Cancer does sit in my sixth house, which we all know as astrologers that the sixth house rules our health. And more importantly, our food or diet is there, is shown there. And Saturn is opposing my sixth house. It has, and of course, Cancer, the opposite of Capricorn, rules food. So the food that I eat is literally putting my life, the sun, essence, Capricorn, in jeopardy. And I thought it was just so odd that the Capricorn, load over there on the opposite side really highlighted what was going on in the sixth house, because it sets up oppositions to some asteroids and things that are going on in the sixth house. So I just wanted to share that story because I do think my story is a little bit over the top, crazy that it's occurring. There are some other things that are contributing to this food issue. Like I have Venus and Scorpio in the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn. The 10th house is Capricorn. And I have Venus progress transiting through my first house. So and Venus, of course, that also rules food. I have a Taurus moon. The moon, of course, rules Cancer. Taurus rules food. It all ties in. It's so crazy. And I just wanted to share that because I'm wondering how many other Capricorns were really deeply affected by that new moon in Libra that occurred in the beginning of the month, and just a few days ago, a week or so ago. It was devastating for me. So I'm just wondering if anyone out there hears my story, and if they have a story to share, please feel free to share your new moon Capricorn square story. If you're a Cancer and you were affected by what was going on with this new moon Libra Sun conjunction, share that too. I would be interested in knowing how Cancers are being affected by what was set up with this new moon. And also Aries. I'm wondering how Aries themselves were affected, because of course that would have all fell into your seventh house axis, this, because Libra is naturally the seventh house, and Aries would have put the Libra in the seventh house. So I'm wondering how your relationships worked out. Anyway, it was just an interesting thought, and I wanted to share that with everyone because it was something that deeply affected my life. And I'll stop running on at the mouth about myself. I wanted to quickly go over where some of the planets are, and also give an inside tip that if you go to astrologyalookinside.com, there is now a button over to the right-hand side that says more. And when you click on that button, there is a cornucopia of fun stuff under there. We've got our monthly calendar is there, which has the monthly transits and daily transits. So you can actually keep an eye on your daily transits now at Astrology and Look Inside. It has the monthly horoscopes there, which you can find them right here on Facebook, on YouTube. But it's nice to know that they're also, you can find them on the website as well now. And so I'm just trying to add more fun things to the website, little secret, little fun things that can keep you busy when you're there. And let me go ahead and pull up what's going on as of today. So as of today, the 15th of October, 2018, the sun is at 22 degrees of Libra. Thank God that is moved to 22 degrees. Now that is still technically square that Pluto in in Capricorn, but it's wide. It's a wide square now because the sun has moved forward and it's not quite on that Pluto. It's about a little under 4 degrees, like 3 degrees away. Also today, the moon is in Capricorn. I didn't even realize that. I just looked down and realized that the moon is in Capricorn on my sun, on my ascendant. I am hoping that this means my body is going to redo itself and I will not have any more really painful experiences beyond this day. Mercury is in Scorpio and Venus is in Scorpio, and they are conjunct right now because Venus is retrograding, so it's actually pulling away. But this would have been a Mercury-Venus connection over the last couple of days. So that should have been pretty pleasant for communication for a lot of people. The only thing, though, is that Mars is still in Aquarius at 12 degrees. And so it's a wide square, but it would have set up a wide square with Mercury and with Venus over the last few days. So I can see where that could have caused some problems for a couple of people. And, for a lot of people, that Saturn and Uranus trine, it's still technically trine, even though it's now almost 3, it's like almost 3 degrees apart now. But because Uranus is retrograding and it's about to go back into Aries for a little while. So we're going to get a little bit of relief from that crazy trine, that Saturn-Uranus trine. Man, I really felt that Uranus down in Taurus was nothing nice. And we're going to have to deal with that because once it trucks back to Aries, it's going to pop right on back to Taurus again. So whatever we've been feeling over the last few weeks, that's going to be, or months actually, that's going to be coming back. We're going to be feeling that again. And that's a little bit eerie. I'm just hoping that had nothing to do with anything. So I'm going to do one other thing because that's why I pulled up the website. I want to make sure I'm actually looking at the actual aspects. I'm just running off at the mouth. I'm clicking on the more button on Astrology. I'll look inside because I'm going to use our own calendar. It's making me accept my own cookie policy. Okay, so let me see if I've got it here. Monthly. So this here, okay, yeah, here we go. So starting on, as I mentioned earlier, Mercury is in Scorpio and it is conjunct Venus today. On the 19th, Mercury is going to trine Neptune, but it's also going to square Mars. Now, that is going to be interesting. Just the fact that it's also going to be square Mars. I have a feeling that could cause some trouble with communications and with some creative ideas. That's Friday. So just be aware that, something really could upset the apple cart Friday because there is an ugly square Mars going on that day. On the 23rd of October, the sun is going into Scorpio. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sun for going into Scorpio. That should be very good for most earth signs and water signs that the sun is going into Scorpio. I'm looking forward to it as a Capricorn because it will place the sun up in my 10th house of career. And so things should start really popping and hopping. But it's not going to start popping and hopping until after the full moon on the 24th. Because the moon will be full in Taurus. And you heard me just say that the sun is going to be in in Scorpio the day before, right? So, and they are going to be opposed because Taurus is going to be at 1 degree and 13 seconds, and it's going to be probably like almost an exact opposition for a moment. And I don't know where Scorpio and Taurus falls in your horoscope, but mark the date, 23rd, 24th, mark the date. Scorpio is opposing Taurus. I'm getting all excited about it because on the 26th, the sun in Scorpio is going to conjunct Venus in Scorpio. It's too early for it to really make a huge impact in my life, but I have Venus in Scorpio. So I'm really looking forward to the Venus in Scorpio and Sun in Scorpio moving forward in that area of my life and hoping. I believe in miracles because for myself, this is all going to start, connect on my Neptune, and that means miracles are afoot for myself. I'm hoping that for you guys that you will also have good experiences with this Sun in Scorpio experience. Now on the 29th, definitely a good experience will be the sun trining the moon in Cancer. That's all water. That's intuition. Like that should be a very intuitive. It might be even a little bit over emotional that day because the moon is in Cancer. Watch out for tears. Yeah, watch out for tears that day. Just watch out for getting too over emotional over things and letting things overwhelm because that could happen that day. On the 30th of October, Mercury enters Sagittarius, and that is going to actually be a good thing because that means our minds are going to be thinking of much more creative and just more jovial, fun-loving, big, expansive ideas. Things get a little heavy and dark sometimes when there's a lot of Scorpio emphasis. So it'll be nice to get that Sag emphasis going. It's a fire sign. It should add some fire, some spark back into your communications again. It should be really nice. Big ideas, a desire for travel. It should be great when Mercury enters Sagittarius. Then on the 31st, Venus leaves Scorpio because don't forget, Venus is retrograding and it's going to leave Scorpio on the 31st, and it's going to enter Venus is going to enter Libra on the 31st. And so that all of that emphasis is going to be in Libra and not Scorpio. But the big thing is that Venus is going to be opposed that crazy Uranus that day. So be aware of that. Venus will be opposed to Uranus on the 31st of October. And this, when I just say the words Venus and Uranus together, my first thought is, wow, be careful of, doing crazy things, around love or relationships or in anything kinky. I would say be careful that day. It is the 31st. It is Halloween. You need to be careful, child. And so that is how I will end for my mid-month. And I will start working on making the videos for the month of November. I want to get that done before the full moon gets here. And so, because once it's the full moon, I'm lazy and nothing gets accomplished. But I want to thank all of my followers and especially those from Astrology, A Look Inside on Facebook for their patience with me during the month of October. I literally have felt over the, since the beginning of the month that I've been like ailing, like an old woman with her little shawl and her medications up on the sofa, just healing from whatever ailments that occurred when that new moon square to my sun, man, I knew it was going to be ugly a month out, but I didn't know it was going to be that ugly. My gosh, just thinking about all the screaming and yelling I did at the hospital. And so, be cautious of really ugly squares like that. there was something I said earlier. We're gonna have a conjunction square. Be cautious of those conjunction square days, okay? And I'm going to leave it with that. If you have not already, go to and visit the website and sign up for the blogs there. I haven't been doing it a lot lately, but I will, I promise. At astrologyalookinside.com. And you can always order a free sample mini reading from me on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/astrology a look inside. Anyway, guys, this has been Capricorntigress, your friendly astrologer, sending out much love and light to all. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you soon when I work on those November horoscopes. Oh, I just noticed someone had something here. It says, okay, so I've been having bad luck. Think it might have something to do with being Aries. I've taken 3 kicks to the balls. Woo! Sorry, I missed your comment. Was just saying how awful it could be for Aries, Caps, and Cancers. Hopefully, things will perk up when the planets start moving into Scorpio and Sagittarius. That's Sagittarius. I'm looking forward to that. That Mercury. Contact me for. I will put that there too. Contact me Try to give them my little thingy here. Look inside to order a free sample reading. Okay, so I hope that's going to be okay. Oh, I didn't do that right. Maybe I should have put this part. Let me do this again. You guys, I hope when this it repeats back, I don't know if I'm going to clear this or not, but at least I'm having fun doing it. Okay, then on it says groups. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I just wanted to put that there, and I apologize for anyone who was here and I missed you earlier. So sorry, I was at astro.com looking and at Astrology a look inside looking at the monthly calendar. So anyway, you guys, I'm almost at a half an hour and I want to go ahead and stop this for the night. Thank you for listening. If you're getting this secondhand, and please make sure you subscribe so that you can be in the know whenever I have my next talks. I'm going to be doing those monthly astrology reports soon, so keep an eye out for those. Okay, everyone, I'm going to get going. Much love and light to all. Bye now.